Hi everybody! So after spending a couple weeks in Kerala, I headed to Rajasthan, mostly to celebrate Holi, but of course I also wanted to explore a couple cities there. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous. Rajasthan has the reputation of being one of the least safe states in India for women. I was a bit hesitant. You know me, I'm the baddest, so I packed my backpack and made it to Jaipur. Jaipur really surprised me. When I arrived, I spent all day alone, just aimlessly wandering the streets. And I encountered such great hospitality. Men were constantly inviting me to their food stalls and giving me food for free, expecting nothing in return. They wouldn't even let me pay, like so sweet. Even one time I wandered into like a very dirty alley with like a bunch of cows and some two guys on a bike were like, hop on, like we'll take you out of here. And they were so nice and sweet. I also felt relatively safe, safer than I did in Delhi, that's for sure. There were a couple situations. I took an auto late at night. A group of guys on a bike passed by the auto and were telling the driver to stop so that they could talk to me. Thank God the driver didn't stop, but it was definitely like a bit of a sketchy situation. After that happened, I had a scarf. I like covered my face, covered my hair, and no one else bothered me that night. There was another time that I met this guy and his dad, and we wanted to explore a little bit of Jaipur together. So his dad offered to take us to a nearby restaurant. I did not realize the scandal that a foreign woman with two men on a bike would cause, but like people were staring, like sticking their tongues out, like pointing at me. I literally had to like cover myself completely with a scarf because it was just attracting so much negative attention. I won't lie, these situations, even though they were a bit sketchy, they kind of added to the vibe of Rajasthan. Like, it was kind of like a thrill and a little exciting, and I enjoyed it. I also celebrated Holi with two other white women, so it was just three of us. We were in the thick of it, and none of us felt uncomfortable or unsafe the entire time. None of us got groped. We were really shocked because we have heard so many horror stories regarding Holi, and we've heard a lot of women, specifically in Pushkar, having terrible experiences, getting groped, harassed in Holi. We experienced none of that. It was actually really nice. I had such a great, amazing time. There is something I really loved about the energy in Jaipur. It was alive and exciting. Even though Rajasthan is a more conservative state, people here still live life on the edge and have as much fun as they can, and I think that's admirable. I did step on cow shit the first time here in Jaipur, which sucks, but it's also part of the experience, right? I don't know. I really enjoyed my time in Jaipur and in Rajasthan, and I definitely want to go back and explore more of Rajasthan in the future. I just love the vibe here. It's also nice because even though it is a very authentic Indian experience, it also has like a lot of tourists. It has like a backpacker scene. People are used to foreigners and tourists here, so it's like it's just a good time, and I would definitely recommend it. I also went out really late at night. I partied. I felt safe the entire time. It like was everything I was looking for. I did have an incident, I will say, at the hostel that I was staying at. There was a guy who worked there. I'm not going to say the name of the hostel, and I'll explain later. But in the rooftop, he was cooking us a meal. Then he asked me for a selfie. While we were taking the selfie, he put his hands like right here. I immediately like shoved them off. I took a second to process. I was with two other British girls. I met them there. We became kind of chill with each other. I told them what happened, and one of them went up to him, punched him right in the face, busted his lip, and it was like a whole ordeal. He deserved it. I'm glad he had a busted lip. He was bleeding. The owner of the hostel then approached me, and we worked everything out, and I don't really want to affect his business because I trust him when he says that nothing like that will ever happen again. So I'm not going to name the hostel because the owner of the hostel and I, we genuinely connected, and he went out of his way afterwards to like make it up to me and to make sure that I felt safe and to also take measures so that something like that never happens again. Overall, I really like the hostel, and regardless of that incident, I will stay there again just because of how the owner dealt with it. And I really truly love this country. It has such a bad rep. It's like other travel content creators just complain and about I don't even know what. Like, I love it here. It's amazing. I do want to give some tips before the end of this video for other solo female travelers who are planning on going to Jaipur. Definitely dress modestly. Even though when I was with a group of friends, we went out at night, I was able to, push the boundaries a little. I wore a crop top, I had my belly out, and I still felt safe and comfortable, but I wouldn't dress like that if I were alone. Second of all, try not to take tuk-tuk, autos, rickshaws alone late at night, and if you do, try and cover yourself up as much as possible so people don't like clock you, especially if you're a foreigner. Another tip, watch where you're walking. There's a lot of cow shit everywhere. Also, the pani puri here, I ate pani puri from a food stall, a random food stall, and it gave me really bad food poisoning. I went to the pharmacy, they gave me some medication, and it was like gone within the day. Amazing. And the medication was like 200 rupees. But I would definitely be careful with the pani puri here. That's the only thing so far that has messed up my stomach in India in the 3 months that I've been here. I will also recommend to celebrate Holi in Jaipur instead of Pushkar. I felt really safe and comfortable. We went to City Palace in the thick of it, and it was an amazing, amazing experience. You do need, if you're planning on traveling alone, anywhere in India really, but especially in Rajasthan, I would say, you do need to be able to set firm boundaries and be able to say no in a very stern, assertive way that leaves no room for like argument. I will say that. But once you're very stern and assertive, people back off, for sure. People back off. I never had an instance where I said no very assertively and people kept pushing. Maybe the first 2 times I was like, no, 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 and they kept pushing, but when I was like, no, they backed off. So that is another thing, just be assertive, hold your boundaries, and don't let people push you into doing something you don't want to do. Also, be open to meeting locals. I know it might be scary, but I was walking around the market and one of the guys working in the market, he was so cute. Just approached him. I was like, Tum Sundar Ho. We started talking. He picked me up on his bike later that night and we drove all around the city and looking at the bonfires, and it was an incredible night. There's just something so exhilarating, so fun about being with like a local alone in India, like riding around on the back of his bike. Like it's an incredible feeling, but definitely be careful with that because it can go wrong. I trust my intuition and I felt like he was safe, and my intuition so far 3 months in has not put me in a bad place yet. So if I feel safe with the guy, I usually trust that. Be careful with that. But it was so much fun. I had a lot of moments like that here in India where I just meet a local guy and I just got on the back of his bike and we just drive around, and it's truly one of the most incredible things to do here. It just feels so freeing. It feels so like exhilarating. It's amazing. I don't recommend anyone to do that, but I will say it's been a big part of my experience and I've enjoyed every second of doing shit like that. That's all for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow the rest of my journey here in India. Love it here. It's amazing. Don't listen to all those other travel content creators that bitch and complain about everything. They need to stick to Europe. Like this isn't for them. But as someone who's been in America my entire life, I was born and raised in New York. And that is such a like one of the richest cities in the world, incredibly developed. Yet I love it here. I don't want to leave. I don't know why people have such a bad experience, because they're looking to have a bad experience, because they're trying to do it for views and clickbait, and because they're not truly trying to immerse themselves and appreciate the culture and the spirituality here. And it's really sad that because of people like this who come to India, it's given India such a bad reputation in the media and in the West. And I'm trying to debunk that and show like the real India, how amazing it is. I love Jaipur. I hope I can go back soon. I definitely will go back. And yeah, like, follow, comment, subscribe. If you want to see more of my journey in India, I've been here for almost 3 months, which is crazy.